Sure, thanks a lot, Chi. So I might start us off with one of the purposes of our article. So the replication debate has been going on in our field for quite a while, but mainly dominated by the quantitative side of things. And so that's created some confusion over time in terms of what the qualitative side would have to say with regards to replication, or the idea of re-examining, re-evaluating something, an original piece of research. And so we felt the need that we need to actually create almost an idea of what the qualitative side would have to say about re-examinations. So we, after a lot of literature research, came up with the idea of restudies. And it's not actually that it's something that we invented. We actually gathered that from a lot of other disciplines. So restudies is essential, or a restudy is an empirical study that follows up on an original piece of work, and it's designed to provide a systematic comparison between that original piece of work. This could be through the original data, it could be through analytical results or field setting, to essentially re-examine and re-evaluate if what we conclude from that original study would still hold now. So if there are any changes that we need to make to our conceptualization, if we can essentially reconfirm some of the findings that we saw before and the conclusions that we derive from it. So it's a chance for us to reevaluate and potentially also re-theorize. And that makes the restudy concept actually quite different from the replication concept, in the sense that it is there to facilitate a revision also and a re-theorizing of the kinds of things that we think we know in the field. So that's kind of, I guess, the first part of our paper, where we create a real vocabulary and a definition around what restudies actually are and their role within the scientific knowledge generation process. I might hand it over to Maria. Go ahead, Maria, talk us through the designs.
Yeah. Look, it's a good starting point here. Before we went to really design the typology of restudies, we had a strong motivation for our own experience. So a couple of years before we started working on this paper, Catherine and I worked on a different paper, an empirical paper, which we struggled to define in terms of methodology. So ultimately, it became a restudy, which was published in JIPS in 2023. And that paper and that work really started us thinking about how do we define what we have done in terms of methodology, and how do we position it within the broader context? Has anyone else done something similar? How our steps? So it both helped us to kind of formalize this process, but also try to think what is the methodology, what have we done in this study? And ultimately, we were able to find quite a few studies in this space, but they were not really enough classified. And that was another motivation for us to come up with the typology of designs. One of those is a restudy, as we have done, but there were at least 3 others that we were able to identify. And anyone who would like to read more about this can go back to our paper and have a proper look at that, and also reach out to us. I leave to Catherine to discuss how to actually do this type of study.
Yeah, thank you, Maria. So the last part of the paper is a bit of a how-to. Tina mentioned that one of the features of a restudy is that you do a systematic comparison between the original study and the one that you're undertaking. And so we step through the process of doing that, right from selecting the case to restudy and seeing that there is a need and convincing you and others there is a need to do so, to thinking about the theoretical purpose. Are you challenging the original study and its theoretical conclusions? Are you reconstructing it? Are you looking at the same data or the same field site using a different lens? And we go through the various steps of doing one, really drawing out what the difference is between this sort of study compared to the typical case study that we all know. And what couple of the things that you have to think about include what sort of relationship are you going to have with the original research team, the original participants, how are you going to be using the original data, if at all, and the same with the analysis, and how are you going to deal with the fact that this comparison means that you are looking at two different time periods, the time period in which you're doing the study and that of the original study. So what you're trying to do is set up a generative dialogue between these two studies as part of your research.